Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Start Podcast. This is episode number 91, and I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Shown, and I'm joined by Scott, aka Scobie1.
Hey everybody, welcome back.
And of course, we got Roger, aka Lunatic Oblivion.
Hey guys, how you doing this week?
And we welcome on a new guest, Kyle from Kyle's Game Room.
Hello.
So, welcome on to the show, Kyle, man. This is your first time on, so if you just want to go ahead and introduce yourself, what do you do for a living, what games you really enjoy playing, or even a fun fact.
All right, so hi, my name is Kyle. I run a channel called KGR. Stands for Kyle's Game Room, if you didn't tell. But for the fun fact, ironically enough, it's more about action figures than anything. Because I've grown over the years. I've done this for 10 years. So at first it was Let's Plays. I'm like, hey, let's do toy reviews because I really love toys. And what I do for a living, I work for a local video game store. And then I also do YouTube on the side, and it ends up paying for my games and figures. So I do well with that because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to afford anything.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome, man. You might want to rebrand though to Kyle's Toy Box. It sounds like,
Right?
so yeah, definitely welcome on to the show, man. So let's get right to it, man. So I haven't really been playing any games this week, so it'll be more about you guys, and obviously we're here to talk about Zelda, basically. But before we get to Zelda, let's just talk about a little bit what you guys have been playing. So we're gonna kick it off, Roger. You got the longest list per usual here. Which one do you want to start here with? I know you beat Luigi's Mansion 3 today on stream. How did that finish up?
I honestly thought it was a really fun game. I've never played a Luigi's Mansion until I decided to play it with Disney on stream. And honestly, it was really fun to be able to play two players. It's one of those Nintendo games that the co-op felt actually engaging. The second player wasn't just Cappy on, Mario Odyssey, or, wasn't just some side character that barely did anything like in Kirby. In the new Kirby that came out on the Switch. It actually felt like, okay, I have to sit there and watch Disney play through parts of the game where I'm just like, okay, take your time.
Hopefully you can do it.
Also, yeah, and it was like, please, you can do it. Come on, just do it. But I have to get all the money first, and I'm like, okay.
But do you? But do you really? Are you sure? Are you really sure?
Yeah, so that's awesome to hear, though. So as you can see here, Disney Princess chiming in, and yeah, she needs it clearly. So yeah, that's awesome to see there. Do you have a plan on what game you plan on streaming next?
Yeah, so we're actually gonna play a smaller sort of indie game called Res Please, or Please Res. It was requested by one of my viewers and admins for the channel. They decided to cash in on their channel points for me to play that game. And the game is going to be, so the whole idea is one player is essentially going to kill themselves so that the other player may progress in the story, and then they bring them back to life, and it kind of rinses and repeats. Whether it be one of them has to jump on a pit of spikes and die so the other one can jump off their dead body to the next platform, or
Yeah, that seems really interesting. I'm looking at some gameplay here from the Steam's
Yeah,
webpage. I'm like, holy
Res,
shit.
please, right? I
Yeah,
started sweating.
Yeah,
I
Res
started
please.
sweating. I was back in my Mercy days. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I can't. I'm good.
please.
No, you know what it sounds like?
Need res, need res.
It sounds like Scott and Res in Warzone again.
Yeah,
Res me,
yeah,
please.
dude, I'm telling you. I don't know what it is, but it's those damn street lamps. I can't. And they get me every time.
Yeah, they're out to get you.
Every time.
So, next up here, Kyle, I wanted to tackle one of your games that appeal to me the most here is Pokemon Stadium. How's that been playing? Are you playing this on the Switch, or is this the N64, or what's going on here?
I'm playing the Switch version. As a kid, I never had a 64. To this day, I still don't have a 64. I had a Super Nintendo and PlayStation, but I always knew somebody that had a 64. So I would spend the night at my grandma's house playing Pokemon Stadium with my cousin. So when I saw that was announced for the Switch Online, I went ape. I was so excited. So we never had a transfer pack as kids either, because the biggest criticism for the Switch version is there's no transfer pack. So it meant absolutely nothing to me. So I'm playing it exactly the way I played it as a kid, and it feels amazing. I love it. And I was streaming it, so I had viewers help me pick out the best teams.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever I felt like I got robbed, thankfully there's save states. So I said, no, I'm robbing it back. So I just kept doing save states. But hey, we're almost done with the game.
Hey, that's dope. Yeah, it's awesome to hear. I actually have an N64. I bought it like a couple years ago because I wanted it to add to my collection of consoles, and I don't have Pokemon Stadium for the N64 yet because it's so tough to come by. And when you do, it's kind of pricey, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to drop that kind of money on it yet. So it's like eventually I'll get it, but it seems like I need to get it for because I have a Switch, so I might as well grab the Switch online, download that, and be able to play that right away. So definitely looking forward to that. And then on you here though, Scott, you're playing some more Redfall still? How's is it? Is it still playing pretty good, or is it still
Man.
shitty, or what's going on?
So like egg on my face, right? Not so much, but still quite a bit. So after I had moved to the next section of the island, I started running into a lot more problems.
Really?
So I took some screen caps. Like there's a couple sections where like I'm walking up like a paved road, and it's like a 2-lane highway, right? And like I'm turned like I guess the game thought too fast. I mean, it was definitely more than 30 frames per second, but the road, like there was just, you could tell like the texture under, you could see like the ground under it. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was clearly like blocked out. Like it was clearly not supposed to be there. I ran into that. Some of the stuff that another game that I was really hype about is also doing, like the you'll see the shadows. The shadows will just move from something that's absolutely stationary. Still playable, but pretty repetitive to this point. I'm gonna see it through because the story is really really good, and there is some really fun aspects to it. So I'm gonna see it through, and I've already come this far. I mean, I already spent the $15 for the PC Game Pass, but yeah, I did start running into some issues, but still playable. Still not a terrible game. Still not the 4 that everyone else thinks it is, but definitely at least a 4.5 or 5 from the 6 that I had given it last week.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good to hear about that. So it is probably as bad as what everyone is saying. That you just haven't got to the bad parts yet. So
It's still, I mean, it's still not. Those are very few, like somewhat
unplayable.
isolated, and kind of not. There's somewhat isolated incidents, but there's just things that I've noticed, especially after we had talked last week about certain aspects that people were having issues with. So I started paying attention to those a little bit more. Excuse me, sorry. And that's where I started really noticing. So it's like, were they there, and I just didn't notice, or now that I'm noticing and I'm looking for them, I'm finding them? Is kind of how I'm taking that one with a little bit of grain of salt.
Mhm.
So
okay, for sure. And then next up here, Roger, we're going to circle back to you. I know you looks like you were playing some more card games and stuff like that, MTG and some Yu-Gi-Oh. Are those both online, or are you playing some in person still?
Well, I play Yu-Gi-Oh in person, but I play MTG online most weeks. I didn't end up. I was going to do the Open this week or last week, and I decided not to do either weeks. Just ended up getting sucked into Breath of the Wild this week,
Yeah.
and last week I had so many things around the house I had to take care of.
Were you playing Breath of the Wild, or was it Tears?
Tears, sorry, tears.
Just making sure. I thought you were pulling it from Scott here because you had to play
Nah,
Jedi Fallen
dude.
Order before you played Tears or
No, I
Survivor.
beat
Sorry.
Breath of the Wild years ago, dude, but I still call it that. I'm sitting in the car with Disney, and I'm like, man, I want to play Breath of the Wild. She's like, you mean the new Legend of Zelda? And I was like,
Yep.
yeah, that one.
That one.
Yeah, that one.
well, it's like when you played Ocarina, and then Majora's Mask came through.
Yeah.
Like you're still, it's Ocarina. Shut up.
Right.
Like it's it. This is Breath of the Wild again. It's just Breath of the Wild 2 Electric Boogaloo.
For sure, which I'm really excited to talk about that game because I've seen a lot of content around it, but want to cover the rest of you guys' games here. So we got Demon Slayer from you, Kyle. I know this is a older game. Are you playing this on the PS5?
Yeah, I'm playing this on PS5. I hear my girlfriend was picking it up again because she bought it forever ago, never played it. And I played it like last year, had a great time with it. And then she's getting back into Demon Slayer, so she's playing the game. And we played multiplayer. I whooped her, and she got very upset. But that's okay. And then one of my best friends came over, because here we both love the Naruto Storm games a lot, and it's the same developer, and it feels so similar. The game is a lot more punishing, and also a lot more rewarding if you pull things off right. So we just had a blast with the multiplayer. So I'm hoping they make a sequel to it because I want to see them expand on it. I'm having a blast with it again.
Yeah, that's dope. I've never played a Demon Slayer game, Roger. I know you're big into anime, and I know you are too,
Well-
Scott. Or have you played this game, Roger?
Roger. Go ahead, Roger. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I've never.
Okay.
So like this to me, if we're talking about the Demon Slayer as in the video game for the anime and manga, then yeah, it's not really. It's just kind of, to me, I thought a fighting clone like any other ones, but it does look good. It looks like the traditional Naruto, Dragon Ball Z fighting game, that side-scrolling
Right.
fighting game, and it looks really crisp.
Yeah, like I've played stuff like the My Hero games. I've played Jump Force.
Jump
I
Force,
never
yeah,
fell in
that
love
was
with
the one
them.
I was.
I never fell in love with them because I loved Naruto. But this is the closest thing I felt to Naruto, and it's so easy to transfer your skills from Naruto to this game. It's so fun.
Almost like a carbon copy, basically.
Almost.
Yeah. See, the last one I played like that was Jump Force, and I had like just gotten back from a deployment or like a trip or something like that, so I had like shut the fuck up money, like that kind of shit, right? For like a week. And I saw Jump Force, I bought it, I played it for like 3 hours. I played as Yugi, summoned the Dark Magician, and I was like, cool. That's
good.
all I wanted to do.
Yep, same.
That's all I wanted to do. Is I wanted to summon the Dark Magician. I've summoned him, and we're done. Like, cool. Like,
The
that's it.
DLC for Blue Eyes White Dragon and Kaiba.
There it is.
Hey, there you go.
I was kind of thinking well, that's Jump is specifically shonen, but yeah, is Demon Slayer is not shonen, correct?
I think it is. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
shonen.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't
it
know if
makes
that takes
sense.
too much.
Makes sense because nobody fucking dies.
It's not seinen, it's shonen.
Yeah,
Seinen has to be a lot darker.
yeah. I was gonna say it makes sense that it's shonen because nobody fucking dies, or if you think they're dead, they don't stay dead. So
Yeah.
that tracks. Yeah, that tracks.
Actually, let's scratch that. The movie did murder a character by the
You're
end of it.
not
He's
wrong.
dead. He's dead. Like,
Yeah.
I was more mad about the fact that they snuffed him in the last episode than they did on Mugen Train. When Tanjiro was like, Tanjiro, you saw all the people like in the background. They're like, they keep me going, they keep me alive, and all you see is Rengoku's sleeve. I'm like, they did my boys so fucking dirty.
Right?
You got Zenitsu standing there, not crying for once, and he's there. You have fucking, oh my god, the Tomoyaki, the very first guy, the actual first Demon Slayer he sees, who's been in like a half an episode. That's about it.
yeah.
And he's like
I'm not
right there
doing
front and
names.
center. He's like right there front and center. And I'm like, where is my boy Rengoku? Because you all fucking did him so dirty. Anyway, I'll get off my I'll
for
get
sure.
off my soapbox.
It's all good. Roger, I want to talk about Coffee Talk. Obviously, that's a game that I have beaten. How's your experience so far? Have you finally met Neo,
Which one's Neo?
the spacesuit guy?
Okay, he doesn't have a name yet. He's still
Okay.
just question mark, question mark,
Yeah.
question mark. And dude, I love that character. He goes, what do your creatures call it? Mating? I was like, yeah, bud, we call it that.
Yeah, he's basically like he's on Earth to mate
Yeah.
with your Earthlings
Dude-
or whatever.
Dude wants to procreate.
Yeah.
That is his mission.
How-
And I was like, good for you, man.
How about how he drinks his coffee?
Yeah, he just sticks his finger into it. I was like, he's probably drinking his coffee, isn't he? And they're like, what are you doing? He goes, drinking. And I was like, thought so.
Yeah.
Good
It reminded
on
me
you,
of the Scary Movie 3 with the aliens, and they're like, "Tss," and they're peeing out their finger, and they're like, "This is how we pee."
Or the rescue here from
bud. And he's got
USJ.
his finger in somebody's mouth, and they're like,
Yeah, and then, or like when they were like, "This is how we say hello." Well, how do you say goodbye? Wham! Kicks him right in the nuts. So man, yeah, that was
I
great.
miss those movies.
And they were so good, even though they were so terrible. They were still.
Oh,
absolutely.
it was one of those. They're so good they are terrible. Like the original parody movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like one of the original parody movies, and it was so good. I mean, they got a little off track with it, but still,
yeah,
damn.
yeah, for sure.
Cindy, your TV is
And
leaking.
Yeah, that shit will forever be funny. So Scott, I see that you got a pooper scooper. What kind of game were you calling it again?
I did the proper pooper.
The proper pooper.
Yeah,
Lord
the
of the
proper
Rings
pooper.
Heroes. How
yeah,
was this?
so we had talked about it last week, and I was like, okay, cool, like we'll see how this goes. And I kind of knew what I had signed up for, but at the same time, I like Didn't make it any less disappointing.
that bad, huh?
It's very much your once again cookie cutter, like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, Marvel Contest of Champions, like your turn based, energy sort of expenditure stuff. Um, everything's driven to level up a certain character, and then you go unlock a new character, level that one up. You only get a certain amount of energy per hour,
Yeah.
unless you want to buy more, of course. Taking one out of Epic's playbook there.
The 16-digit cheat code, as you said.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's the 16-digit cheat code. But still, I mean, it's cool. It's fun. Like, I'm a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. But there's so many other mobile games out there that are infinitely better.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of meh. I mean, Strider or Aragorn, like it's a dude it's a random dude with a beard. It's got like the crappy artwork, like his hair flows like this, like, and then he's got the dumb little like look with the beard, and it's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm
Yeah.
all right. I don't need this.
Yeah, so
I
it
can't believe
seems-
I deleted something for this. I don't
Right.
know what I was deleting, but yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a
Other
half-ass
shit I
game.
didn't use. Yeah, well, not half-ass. I mean, they definitely put a lot into it, but like put a lot into it to make it just like every other.
It's just
game.
there's so much stuff that Lord of the Rings is doing lately that like they're getting really open with the IP, and it's getting a little out of hand. Like Magic
Jeff
the
Bezos.
Gathering has a set coming out. We've got, Lord of the Rings on mobile game.
Or
We've
Gollum.
got
We got Gollum coming out.
Gollum coming out. That's been coming out for over a year now.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
No, it's
See, I
still
think in
coming
the
out.
in the sense of like Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings makes sense.
And
It makes
looks good.
perfect sense, and it looks amazing. They can stick with the artwork. They can actually make that look as good as like artwork from like when they did the movies, and they can kind of stick true to that. So that's right up Lord of the Rings alley. I mean, Lord of the Rings, Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, like they're all the fucking same. Like they're
More or
all
less.
part of like that one big nerd universe. Like we love it.
That was Fortnite before
when
Fortnite.
when yeah, it was the metaverse, the Tolkien verse. But like when you get something that's like all character, like all like kind of like cartoony and stuff, nah.
Right.
I mean, at least Gollum's gonna bring us a little bit more lore in between the actual main events of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. So that'll bring us a lot of stuff there. So I am looking forward to that. But this was just meh.
Right.
Meh.
Well, how about we talk about something that's not me? I didn't play it, so I'm going to just give you some stats, and then I'll let you guys take the floor here and talk about it. I hear a little bit of echoing going on, so I'm not sure who that's coming from. But kicking off here with a quote from IGN, it says, "But it is also has an extremely tangible connection. It reads your Breath of the Wild save data and uses that data in Tears of the Kingdom for a feature that we're surprisingly emotional about." I didn't read too much further because I wasn't really trying to spoil anything for anybody, including myself. But that's pretty cool, Roger, because I know we used to talk about with the PlayStation games how it used to read certain files onto next games and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool to hear about. I'm ready to hear from you guys in regards to this. But a speedrunner has actually already beaten this game in 94 minutes. Like, that's fucking insane, guys. Like, 94 minutes to beat a game that's going to take tons of hours. Like, this game is massive, is what I've been hearing. But on Metacritic, it is getting a 96 Metascore with a 5.6 user score, and my guess is it's getting review bombed per usual. Like, we're dealing with that massive crisis of review bombing. So hopefully Metacritic can fix that, because they already pledged that they were going to fix it, but clearly they're not fixing it that well. So we just kind of got to go off with the. You said you just lost audio. Can you guys hear still?
No, we're here. We
Oh,
can hear
okay.
you. He's
Hear it.
lost it.
Okay, cool. And then just some stats from the UK, which is pretty interesting here. 173% higher than Breath of the Wild, which is fucking out of this world. But the fact that the box sales are 30% higher than Hogwarts Legacy, and this is including digital sales at all. So I'm really curious to see the total stats with all of this combined, because we know games are moving towards the digital market. So like box sales are kind of they're kind of skewed. Like these ones may be higher because people want to collect this game. Maybe people bought the collector's edition that came with all that extra shit. Where Hogwarts Legacy, did it have a collector's edition? I don't even remember. It's not even that big of a deal. But it is the fourth highest revenue ever in a Zelda series, right behind Ocarina. And then it's slightly below Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So this seems like a very, very successful game. Kyle, I know you're a big Zelda fan. Tell me about the experience so far.
Okay, so when I played Breath of the Wild, not Tears of the Kingdom, when I played Breath of the Wild back in 2017, um, discovering that world was so magical, and doing multiple playthroughs, and the magic was starting to go away because I already knew the terrain. But going into this game, starting off with an all new island or world that you don't know, like it recaptures that magic for me. So I'm just sitting here falling in love with this world all over again, rediscovering so many things, like thinking about how massive this game is, not even fathoming how big this game is. It's incredible.
No, that's
Uh,
honestly, I'm with you there. I actually think you captured it quite well. It was magical. Breath of the Wild was awesome. You come into that world and you kind of just looked out over because you're on this island, you're on this plateau, and you're like, wow, there's just so much to do. And you take away, you zoom back, and you look at the scale of the world, and you're like, this is awesome. It is
Right.
just so much to explore. And then I was like, yeah, after a while, I was like, man, I'm really tired of traveling between the world, trying to find new checkpoints so that I can at least quick travel to them. And, Breath of the Wild, after a while, you're like, all right, let's just go fuck up the final boss and let's call it a day. Like, you get to the
Right.
point where you're like, I'm done. Okay. It was fun. It was awesome. This game, I'm back to square one again. You start on that island. It is beautiful. It's like, wow, what the fuck's going on? Like, but it starts you off so well. I think one of my favorite parts was like the beginning of the game. It takes the game and says, okay, here's the end of Breath of the Wild. And you're like, okay, I'm God. I'm God again. It feels great. And you literally within 30 minutes, you're like, wow, they explained away all your powers. We said it with Jedi, with the release of the new Star Wars game, where like survivors like, hey, you it feels like you continued from the last game, where other games feel like they reset you and you're like, what happened to all of these cool powers from the last game? You don't explain it. Breath of the Wild says, hey, we fucked you up, now start again. And it feels good. Like
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild is over, you're now in tears and you're like, wow, I actually feel like I feel okay coming back, but all the enemies didn't get reset. They feel like they're still gonna one punch you, and you're like, okay, I have 3 hearts, bro. Calm down. And you go to your first mini boss, and you're like, this dude one hits me, so I need to know what I'm doing, and I there are no mistakes.
Right.
It
Like,
Yeah,
felt so good.
it's super unforgiving, but like it's one of those times where you're like, yeah, please, a little bit more. I want it.
Do it again, daddy.
Like if you can, if you can, like
I think I
just
know the episode's the
yeah,
title now.
just-
Do it again, Daddy.
do it again, Daddy. Or like, I don't know if we can get away with step on my pubes, but basically that's kind of what you're asking at some
Yeah.
point in that game.
can I
But-
just say? Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no,
No,
you're
no,
good.
after
You're good.
you.
I love like how like when you're in the beginning of the game, before you do really anything, when you're getting closer and closer to Ganon, like it gives off that Majora's Mask vibe when it comes to his orchestral arrangement, like, and it gets louder and louder when you get closer. It's I cannot, I can't. I love this game so much. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really well done, and I think they recaptured that sort of freedom that you had in Breath of the Wild with the ability to like, hey, you can do everything you did in Breath of the Wild and more. Like,
Right.
and like
But
you
better.
can break, like it feels fun to like build your own contraptions, whether it be your first blimp or like just add rocket boosters to your fucking glider. It feels fun.
It's so
like
fun.
you literally build a jet and you're like, this is awesome. I don't even know what. Like I built a minecart and just shot it into space. I was like, well, who needs rails when you can go up? Okay, like
Yeah.
who needs
So
to do anything?
Am I the only one that lost a lot of hearts to some trial and error?
Yes,
Because-
I did too.
Because damn, so when you're on, well, first off, they really screwed up not just calling it a Skyland.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but that's neither here nor there. But like, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to get the glide. I attached like a fan to the glider. I'm like, it's not going. Like, I was right at the edge of like one of the pieces there. I'm like, it's not going. Like, I went and I used my ultra hand, like grabbed it and moved it over, and like went to go jump on it, and then just fell completely straight down. Dove straight into. I was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna dive and see if I can kind of steer my way out of this. There was no water anywhere, and I was like, well, you got to commit, and I just stayed right in the spawn dive.
So
You hit and he just
So-
contort.
Can we
So-
talk about the what's taking the internet by storm is the contraption that someone made
Yes,
with
and
the
that's where I was gonna go
flamethrower
next.
penis?
Yeah, so like, and that's what I was gonna say next is the fact that the game feels good. Like it takes that air where like you're like, okay, I'm in this fun fantasy world. There's so much going on. It's awesome. And then you have the other players who play the game how they want to play the game, and they build giant suits. Like the guy leaves, so there's a rich benefactor looking to make some money by leaving, building supplies all over Hyrule, so that one day, he'll be the king of, all the raw materials, and everyone want to buy from him because he gave it all away so people could rebuild houses. People are just like, I'm going to build a giant transformer with this, and then I'm going to make a giant penis that spews fire out the front because I can.
Unfortunately, the benefactor forgot that the internet is a perpetual 14-year-old boy and just loved dick and fart jokes all over the
Like,
place.
I didn't even think to do that. I'm just over here having fun. Like, man, how can I build a cool airship? And then somebody's over here like, flying penis. Like, why? Why?
It's the
Why?
it's the Megazord we all wanted.
The Megazord you wanted.
It's the Megazord we all wanted. So of you guys that have played this, have you seen the rock falling from the sky?
I don't
Did
know.
you also try to rewind that and you realize it stops halfway in the middle of the sky and you can't go anywhere but down? I've died some pretty funny ways already because I just sit there. I'm like, oh yeah, I just got to go right over there, and I'm like, but what's that? Because
That just fell from the sky at a trajectory.
Yeah,
What
I was
happens
like,
if you
I was
rewind
like,
it?
it's exactly what I did. I was like, it's blue. I was like, we're gonna step on that and we're gonna rewind this and see how far up it takes me. And it takes you about halfway is the answer. And then you just fall, and that is it.
Gravity takes over, not trajectory. Gravity. Like it
Yeah.
had inertia this way, now it has that way.
Yeah. So man, but I will say, we keep calling it Breath of the Wild mistakenly, but it's like it's exactly what it feels like. You're right back there. When I landed and I was like looking around and trying to like get a feel for everything, like the first thing I saw was Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. I'm right here. Like everything's good. Like everything's here. Like trying to get my navigational arrows pointed correctly.
And like right there is the
But it
ranch.
was right
It's
there.
right-
Yes, it's
yeah.
right
And
there.
you're like, oh. And you go there and you're like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's there, but
it's not there. And what's
Things-
really cool about this is they took the depth of gameplay and they're like, okay, it's not just 2 layers. The whole game has 3 layers. You have above, ground, and under. And it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's great what they've been able to expand on with Breath of the Wild. But I will take a minute here, and I will lay a couple cons down. This should have been a new Switch exclusive. This hardware cannot do it. I mean, well, it can. It very can and clearly does. But like, I'm noticing a lot of things that I didn't even notice with Breath of the Wild 6 years ago. Because at the time, 6 years ago, it was made specifically for the Switch. It wasn't
Well,
as
it was made
demanding.
for the Wii U and the Switch.
Well, yeah, and they had to downplay it for the Wii U, have it compatible on both, and this one was just the Switch. And we were talking last week, like, oh, this is great. They're gonna be able to focus on just the Switch and really maybe try to push that needle. And like, I mean, that needle's been pushed, but it's like one of the first things I noticed when you awaken on the island, you go in, you have like your trees and everything like that. The shadows.
Yeah.
The shadows bombard 99% of your pixels. They're sitting there, they're moving, they're doing all this. It made it feel very, very like choppy, just erratic, like visually noisy. Now, once you get down and you actually get back into Hyrule, it's a little bit better, but it's still very noticeable. And I think that if they would have just waited this out for a little bit until maybe next year, then they probably could have gotten something.
But that's
that
assuming we
played
get
a
the
much-
Switch next year.
I will make an assumption
Yeah.
that we get it towards the end, towards mid or end next year. But like, man, if they would have just waited, I mean, we've already waited 6 years. I can wait 6 months. I can wait 8 months, 9 months more if you can tell me that this game is going to play flawlessly, look amazing, which it does. But like, it looks amazing at a cost for a little bit.
Right. I just
Yeah,
want to
and
chime in real
honestly,
quick because
go ahead.
right before we move on here is the fact that people are comparing this game to the issues with Redfall. Right. Redfall was running at 4K 30 frames on the Xbox. Right. This game on the Switch is running at like 900p 20 frames a second, and it's just like how are we okay with Redfall or Zelda running at that, but not Redfall? I just wanted to
I
interject with
think
that.
I think that would have to be because we expect less from the Switch.
And not only that, it's the fact that the depth of play is bigger on Breath of the Wild. There's so much more to it. Like Redfall is an anthill compared to the mansion that is Tears of the Kingdom.
Right.
Tears of the Kingdom has so much to offer, and Redfall, all we ask is a single island be rendered where we can do some shooty gun stuff and some superpowers. And they're
Yeah.
like, sorry, we
Right.
can't. Like when you go into the Breath of the Wild, you're like, the models are there. The models are crisp, they're clean, they look great. And it's awesome. And it's also the Switch versus a next gen console. So like
Right. Yeah, I
you
definitely
can't-
agree. But people have just been comparing it like, why is it okay
Yeah.
versus the other? Because it almost sounds like what Scott's saying is that they should have delayed this game for the Switch Pro so that it could have ran at its best possible fidelity. Because right now it's not there. It's pushing the needle. You could feel it. It's throttling where this game would thrive if it did run on the Switch Pro or whatever they decide to call it.
And like for me though, I can't even acknowledge the fact that the graphics are bad because I don't notice it because I'm having too much fun with the gameplay. The gameplay actually carries the fact because as I've said in many of our episodes, right now we're in the graphics revolution. This is where everyone puts everything. You know, we forgot about music, we forgot about gameplay, and then when we hear good music, when we play good games, when something great happens that isn't graphics, we're like, wow, this game's amazing. For a moment, we take for granted that all we care about right now for games is the way they look. And
I will
and-
100% second that. Yeah, what the issues I've had have been completely overshadowed by the fun I was having, getting back to Hyrule, the ambience music, like getting back to making a good recipe and hearing
and
that
not
shit.
only that, like Disney does not play games like we play games. And Disney sat down and went, this is so much fun. And I'm like, yeah, it is. It's awesome. It's just actual and just endorphins.
Right. So,
yeah, 100%.
just real quick, Kyle, I wanted to get your closing thoughts on Zelda before we move on here to our next segment of the show.
I'm hoping. No, I'm not hoping. It's guaranteed to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Mhm.
But honestly, I don't know how to feel if it does win Game of the Year. Because when Persona 5 lost, everybody was devastated. But I'm excited to see what's gonna come up next, like with Spider-Man 2 eventually, or being compared
Starfield.
to Horizon. Like I'm excited to see the lineup of the Game of the Year for this year because this year is insane so far.
Hogwarts Legacy underdog.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of games that we're going to see in Game of the Year. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, this Game of the Year is going to be the year for games, and it's going to be an upset no matter who wins. Not like last year where It Takes Two won, and we were like,
Holy
they
shit.
deserved it.
Yeah.
Holy
Yep.
shit,
Absolutely.
they deserved it. They were the underdog, and it was an amazing fucking game from a small studio. This year, we're like, triple A's are literally jumping into a free-for-all MMA ring, and we're
Yeah.
like, who's going to win?
It is 100% at this point a Royal Rumble, and every week they just keep announcing new contestants for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And all
So-
I'm saying is, when is John Cena in the ring here? What game is John Cena? The one we don't see coming.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be WWE 2K.
Right. So, time to move on here. Let's go talk about our game releases here. All right, Roger. So, if you want to kick us off here with the short list that we got going on.
There
here.
is nothing. Okay, Breath of the Wild. That's it. No, but we
There's
do
no
have a few
need.
small games coming out this week, guys. We have Humanity. This is a PlayStation VR 2 and a PlayStation PC game. It's meant to be a VR style game. It is single player only, and that's much all I have on it. Really, I haven't heard anything until today when I saw it on the list. Next up, we have Starship Troopers getting a video game. Starship Troopers
Let's go.
Extermination. Are you excited for this, Vic?
Hell yeah, dude. Like, when they announced it, I was like, oh shit. Like, I remember watching the movies back in the day, and I'm like, this franchise deserved. I mean, they had games back in the day, but, like, they need, like, a modern day game. And the fact that it's going to be a 12-player co op coming this year, and it's entering early access here. So, that on May 17th is when it comes out on early access for PC. This might be a game that I'm like, yo, Roger, or whoever else in Lunacy Arts or whatever wants to hop in. 12-player co-op, just fighting off these aliens and shit like that.
Just come and drop, yeah.
Because I don't care about the graphic fidelity in the Starship Troopers game. I don't know about you, but I could care less about that in this kind of IP here. So I'm really looking forward to maybe checking
Trying to
this
get
out.
your happy ass to climb that
Honestly,
through and
yeah.
just do your
It
part.
looks,
Right.
It looks good though. That's the thing. It looks like a whole immersive explorative world where you're going around hunting in this strike team of 12 people. If you need 12 people to play this game, what are you fighting? Like, are you actually playing the movie Starship Troopers? Because that'd suck. All right. Next up, we've got Firmament. This is a game for PlayStation 5, PSVR 2, and PlayStation 4, PC, and Mac. Weirdly enough, PC and Mac got this on May 18th, but the rest of the consoles will be getting it on the 5th. They'll be getting it, like PlayStation 5, VR 2, and PS4. They'll be getting it
Eventually.
sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually. But this is a game that's releasing for both PC and Mac day one, which looks interesting. It's a... it's how to describe it here is
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's an interesting looking sort of puzzle action game, I believe here. And it looks like it's sort of what it says here. It's a
new puzzle adventure game by the
Yeah.
legendary game studio behind the best-selling games Myst and Riven or Riven.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, and then the last two games we have are Outlast Trials,
Which
on
is
May
huge.
18th. Yeah, which is huge. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
It is a big series, and then the last one being Lego 2K Drive.
The game that was announced not that long ago, and
Yeah.
it literally came out of left field, and you're like, okay, like it makes sense.
What should I expect?
Right, it's like an
Yeah.
open world, like it's like Forza Horizon 5, but just Legos, basically. You
But
can
now
build
we've got
whatever you want.
practice because we've been building cars and shit in Tears of the Kingdom, so we should be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
and it's not only that. Supposedly, this game you'd be able to build your own vehicles, including jets, cars, motorcycles, boats. Like it's just anything you want. Anything that's a vehicle, you drive it.
Right. So, short list here, but Roger, which one are you most excited for on this list if you were to try a game out here?
Starship Troopers.
Oh
actually.
yeah.
Honestly, it's the one that really looks super cool to me, just because of the sheer like what the content is going to be. It's like, you know, you're playing with a bunch of other players and just swarms of just like it almost sort of feels to me like you're in the COD zombies, and it's just waves and waves of bugs, and you're just like, help!
Yeah.
I'm out of ammo.
And what makes it even crazier is like the bar isn't set up here for this
Yeah.
game. This bar is like set bare minimum, and it's
Yeah.
like if this game turns out to be fun and really good, it's like, fuck this kid,
You-
you're
If you
good.
can keep a player base from early access to actual launch, the game's a success.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Kyle, which one of these 5 games here are you most looking forward to?
I would say the Lego Racer.
Okay.
Because when I seen from the trailers, it reminds me so much of Sonic and All Stars Racing Transformed, and I loved that game so much. I preferred it over Mario Kart 8 at the time when it came out. So the fact that it looks very, very similar to that, plus having that open worldness of like Horizon 5, like it looks so fun.
Yeah, definitely agree. And the fact that like they can basically add anything to this game, I guess, because like
Right.
Lego has like access to almost any IP in the world. And then like you imagine like bringing in like ships from Star Wars or cars from the Fast and Furious movies or whatever. Like they can make some crazy
Right.
ass crossovers, and I think that'd be a lot of fun here. So Scott, what about you? Are you a Lego 2K Drive, or are you shooting some aliens with us?
Oh, it's got to be Tears of the Kingdom for sure. No, out of these, definitely catch me doing my part in Starship Troopers.
In my part, sir.
Straight up, was a huge fan of the movies.
I need revived. Please revive
Yeah,
me.
no, I need a revive. Give me a minute. I need a res. I need a res. Fucking lamppost. No, it's gonna be Starship Troopers, but like Lego 2K Drive just looks so fun. And we were always talking about like what's the best crossover universe? Well, it's Lego.
Yeah.
Fortnite's been trying real hard, but Lego already has that in the bag. So I'd have to give it to Starship Troopers just because it looks so fun. The 12-person co-op. I mean, you can just get so many people. You can just have some just amazing fun like co-op moments there.
Right.
And it looks
so-
like it might be a story-driven style game, and the idea is it takes that base building game mode from hordes of bugs. So like what we always wanted Minecraft to be, where you get swarmed by zombies and they destroy through your stuff. That's what this is. This is going to be just swarms of bugs as you're trying to reclaim places that are lost from them. This honestly looks good. And the description of the game says 16 players on Steam. It actually is 16, it says. And the website we're looking at here actually has the number lower. So if it's 16 players,
That's even crazier.
sounds really nuts, dude.
That's insane. It's gonna
insane.
be pure chaos.
Right, which is crazy though, because
It's-
I'm on Steam watching the video, and it says pre-alpha gameplay footage from a 12-player supported session. So maybe they're working on making it 16, but right now they've been stable at 12. So I mean, fuck, 12 players though in a game. You imagine playing 12-player zombie mode in Call of Duty? Like that probably would be fucking nuts.
Absolute chaos. It's gonna be like late night WoW raids all over again.
Yeah.
The minute
exactly.
one thing goes wrong.
So it sounds like May 17th. We're probably going to download this game and check it out and see how that.
Honestly,
how that goes.
I'd see myself taking a week away from any games and just stream this for, not this week, but next week. If it's good and I pick it up. It all depends on the price, though, too. Because
Yeah.
we're just dropping 70 games on AAA this week. Tears of the Kingdom was $70.
Right.
Do we really want to spend
And
$40
that-
on a
was
early
it-
access? Or
Was that the first Switch game at 70, or was Pokemon?
Pokemon, I think, was
I think
Pokemon wasn't
technically
$70.
the first one was Skyrim, with the
Yeah.
anniversary edition or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was the first Nintendo game at 70.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, man, that's just a very short list, but we got some pretty big excitement out of the 5 games coming out here. So let's move on to our action-packed industry news. So guys, got an update in regards to Microsoft here, but not related to the Activision Blizzard deal for once. Interesting enough, I do got some insider information on that, which we can talk about a little bit later on. But workers over at Microsoft are not going to get their annual pay bump, despite the $18.3 billion profit in the past 3 months. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said in a memo to staff obtained by an insider that economic conditions are to blame for the lack of salary bump this year. Nadella said, "We don't take this decision lightly, having considered it over several months." But he also got a pay raise of like $20 million or whatever not that long ago.
Yep,
So it's like...
It's that goddamn supply chain again.
Yeah.
He just can't give money to his employees. Fucking assholes.
it's goddamn COVID, you know.
It's fucking COVID. You know how hard it is. It's
And okay,
terrible.
let me. You're such a fanboy, Vic. You're such a Microsoft Xbox fanboy, and you're like, they're gonna do no wrong when they buy Activision Blizzard, and then they just take everyone in the industry and fuck them
Yeah.
raw. Look what they do to their own employees. What are they gonna do to the actual consumer once they own Activision Blizzard? Hey, so we decided to go a different direction. Yeah, we're gonna get fined $1 million, but we're gonna make $1 billion. So who cares?
who gives a shit? That's $999 million after taxes, bitch. Like,
Right.
yeah, I think it's the math would have to be like 18.3 billion in profit for the whole company. Okay, what was that? What's that split around? What is your overhead? What do you have to pay for the next year? Stuff like that. But even then, it's 18.3 billion with a B
Right.
dollars.
What's your thoughts on
and
this?
y'all can't just give somebody like an extra buck an hour at the least.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely adds up. So I get it. So I mean, there's probably a legitimate
Yeah.
reason. who knows? I mean, they're sitting on cash regardless. But Kyle, what's your take on Microsoft not wanting to give their workers a pay raise?
I feel like an angry well, if I know how to talk, millennial. um, where I see like huge corporate companies like, sure, like you can now afford another yacht. Excellent, good job. Maybe get another mansion somewhere, cool beans. But the working force can't afford rent. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's a class war. It is. It's like it remind like when I see stuff like that. Same thing with what was it? BP Shell.
Yep.
Like reporting record profits, and they're like, "Oh man, we had to lay so many people off because of the market." And I'm like, "What fucking market are you playing?"
Right.
Yeah, like what? What are you talking
Mind. Well, we were expecting 12 billion. We only made 11. So
about?
bye.
That's technically a loss for what we were projecting. You know,
Yeah.
like it gives the same vibes as like Leonardo DiCaprio, who goes to like anywhere that he gets seen and like promotes like climate change and like all that good stuff, but like he flew there by his private jet, like, and then when he leaves in his private jet, lands at a helicopter launch site, and then lands from the like takes the helicopter to his fucking yacht, his $315 million yacht, and then just sits there. Like it's the same vibes. It's literally the same vibes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But outside of Microsoft, future Microsoft IP potentially or whatever is Blizzard. Developers say mandatory return to office policy has cost a lot of amazing people because basically they were like, yeah, you got to come back to work. They're like, yeah, no, I'm not. See you later. Peace. I'm gonna go to a company that does offer work from home strategies
They
here.
started their own. Tons
Right.
of them.
Yeah. And this like the crazy thing is the company was like, "Oh no, we got to go into this crisis situation and create basically plans to prepare for this." And it's just like people just aren't ready. Like the whole industry has drastically changed to work from home. You don't necessarily need to be in person to create a video game. Yeah, we saw the terrible outcomes up front because no one this their company wasn't set up for it.
Well,
Now they
all
are.
these games were planned when they had staff in office in these working models. Now that people are at home and they have to run their whole setup there, there are going to be those initial hurdles. But hey, I had them too. I work in IT and I stood a ton of shit up from home that I would have expected to have to be in the office.
Right. It just makes absolutely no sense. What's your take on this, Kyle?
I can understand like being in an office because of communication would probably be a lot easier, but with stuff like Discord or something as clunky as Zoom or anything like that, like we see like not just from IT but also more game development, anything working from home, even government jobs. Like I agree that working from home is starting to become more popular, but it seems that the corporate man that likes to make 2 yachts a year wants to keep us all in the office.
Right.
But
Well, if he can't verify that you're doing the work that you're clearly being able to do at the end plus some, then he's upset because like now he can't watch to see, oh, it only took you 20 hours to do 40 hours of work. Yeah, well, this week it did. Next week it may take me 40 hours. But now they can't watch and be like, oh, now I can min-max your time even harder so that I get, 60, 70 hours of work out of you in a 40-hour week.
Right.
Right.
And the crazy thing that you say this, right? This is similar to the topic here because I was watching a TikTok video and they were talking about the 8-hour work day is completely bullshit because like you take two employees that would do the same job, right? And in 8 hours, that one person, it took them 7 hours of their day to complete that task. That same other person took 3 hours to complete the task, and guess what? You awarded them by giving them more work because they were efficient enough and efficient and proficient enough. It doesn't make any sense.
State government. I work state government. I know what that's like. Like I've been there where people are like, "Hey man, don't make us look bad. Slow down." And it's like I actually got told to slow down because I was making other people look bad for doing too much work, and I was like,
Yeah,
fuck me.
it just goes to show like we should be rewarding these people. Okay, cool. You got the task done for the day. Go home. Enjoy more time with the family.
And there.
And like at that point, you might as well get paid salary because obviously you're working less hours, so you don't want to lose money. Because like then you get in the predicament like, yeah, I can go home, but I'm not getting paid for it.
right.
So they got to come up with some kind of compensation because like there's no way like if you're tasked with one thing and then you complete it and it's good work. I'm saying because people can rush through work, right, and it'll be shitty quality.
Absolutely.
But if you're producing high efficient quality proficient work, why reward them with more work? It doesn't make any sense. You're going to burn that person out to then not make good quality work anymore.
So
And then-
I think a little bit of your argument there is hourly rate versus pay per project or like a pay per piece sort of thing. Oh, well, if I do that one thing, I can go home. Okay, well, you only get paid for the time it took you to do that one thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the would a lot of people agree to that? Well, I have to be here for 8 hours. That's a shame. It only took me 3 hours to do this. Okay, well, you're getting paid for 3 hours. Go home.
Right. Yeah, it definitely comes to a balance if they can figure that out for sure. But moving on here to PlayStation, Roger, what is going over in the PlayStation world?
So PlayStation opened up a new AAA studio a few years back in 2021. They're called Deviation Games. We haven't seen anything, I believe, from them yet, and they're working on a AAA IP that's supposed to be straight from Sony Interactive. They just announced that they're laying off 90 people, and just back in 2021, they said we're just over 100 strong, which makes me believe, did they grow really big? Are they just not going to make a game now? What's going on? So just kind of shows where we are with Sony and their first party development. Are their first party studios actually doing well? And it seems not many are.
Right. I mean, we've already seen them come out and say that they can't fund their first party studios without Call of Duty. They've already been on the news or the paperwork to say that. So it just makes me wonder, like, are they really successful as they really are? Because
They need that trickle down.
Because it really doesn't matter how many consoles they sell. We cannot forget that. They can sell 40 million consoles, but they're selling those consoles at a loss. So you sell 90 million consoles, that's great, but you're still negative $4 billion. Are your games selling? Is going to be the real thing. And we've seen a lot of their game numbers and how many people have played them. They're not like these record-setting numbers of people playing these games. So it's like there's definitely something going on with Sony, and if they lose Call of Duty the way that they think they might lose Call of Duty, they're in a rude awakening here soon.
And the biggest issue is their studios just have been struggling lately. Like, when's the last time we had a good game like Last of Us, the OG Last of Us? Like, the sequel wasn't that great comparatively speaking to how good that was. Look at the Uncharted series. It's over. They said we're done, but like, that was their flagship.
Yeah.
Where are we going from here? Sony has yet to kind of pick up the pieces of their, like, we finally finished an IP. And don't get me wrong, don't keep running an IP into the ground. A good story is a good story, but a long story is not a good story.
3 words for PlayStation: Legend of Dragoon.
I thought you were going somewhere else there for a second.
Legend of Dragoon. Like, I see all that.
I was
don't
like,
have
what? You
anything
want
else.
you
They
want
might as well
PlayStation
start-
to buy Zelda now?
They might as well start digging in the fucking archives
Right.
and pull something out that everybody wants.
And the
Right.
thing is, like, Sony had always been successful from the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 2, even into the PlayStation 3. We saw these wonderful, wonderful games from Japanese studios, to really showcase what they had to offer the West. And it was great. But now that they're westernized in many ways, what are they bringing to the table? Final Fantasy?
Right. And that's not
Like,
even
you
owned by
filter
them. That's not even owned by
classic-
them. It's just they have the exclusive rights to it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, they're only piggybacking off of other success now.
Right.
Like,
I mean, God of
we
War.
had-
We know the success with God of War in the Horizon series.
but
Like that only
even
goes
then,
so
the
far.
newest one, like the newest God of War, honestly, wasn't as good as the original, like the God of War 2018, in my opinion. And people can fight me on that, dude. Like, lately, the storytelling at Sony has been bad. Like, their first party studios are like, and they're.
I think they're
I was-
severely lacking an anchor. Go ahead, Kyle.
I want to say, Last of Us Part 2. Although it was a fine game, I liked it.
Yeah.
It did not hit the same story beats that was jaw dropping like the first game.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. Like,
Right.
where is that thrilling, enticing story? Like, we had Uncharted was an amazing game. Like, even when they re-released the collection, it was so much fun to play, and then to play the game after that. And then they were like, well, let's play this side story of Uncharted, and it didn't really do well. And they were like, okay, Uncharted's done. And it's like, yeah, as it should be. But like, where are your classic first, single player games? We've seen how single player games do really well.
They're on the way, right? Just like Xbox keeps saying, games are on the way.
I mean,
They'll be there, guys.
They'll
Don't
be there.
worry.
Deviation Games. Deviation Games is our first example, and that's what I'm coming back to.
Right. Yeah, so we'll see how that story progresses. But PlayStation did have some record-setting numbers, even though, like I said, this doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, PS5 shipped more consoles in January to March than they did in any console history. So like this is tons. They shipped 6.3 million units between January and March this year. That puts them up to 38.4 million consoles.
Right, which is crazy to think about. The PS2 is the most sold console of all time, and it's beaten those record in that time frame. But like I said, these numbers in the grand scheme of things does not matter. They're taking
It more makes you think like what game was out or what happened around that time frame that pushed the PS5 sales, because it wasn't the fucking PS5.
the VR2, because you needed a PlayStation 5 to
okay.
play the VR2. That's part
I'm
of
not sure
it.
about that one.
Not all the way, but I think that had parts to it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I know-
what else came out in January to March? Forspoken was January.
Well, we know that didn't.
Yeah, that didn't do great.
We know that didn't do it.
I'm trying to run through the list here. I really don't. There's not like an exclusive game from them that really made it stand out. Go ahead,
The
Kyle.
only thing I can think of is for 2 years there was FOMO of, oh man, I need to get a PS5 because these things are always gone, and now they're starting to become more readily available. And as someone who works in a game store, they're now starting to become traded in even more. So
it's because somebody they're like, I need the PS5, I need the PS5, and they get their PS5, and they're like, I got it.
No, what do I play?
Now what do I do?
yeah, like,
I go play Fortnite.
exactly. No one's asking for PS5s anymore, so I'm really interested to see how for the next couple of months it's going to be, because when Spider-Man drops sometime in this like the later half of this year, I think that's gonna. I'm not sure if it's gonna drop up sales, but I think it's gonna help a good bit.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, can Sony keep that momentum with these AAA releases, whether it be from themselves or from third parties.
Historically, it's been no already, for the most part.
Right. Like, I can understand their fear of not having Call of Duty, because whenever I see somebody coming in trading in their consoles, I see Call of Duty, Madden, and NBA 9 times out of 10. I sometimes see some like Final Fantasy or Uncharted, and I get excited. I'm like, hey, look, it's something not too casual. The fact that they're gonna be losing, I feel like, I want to say 40 to 50% of like the casual market, because I want to say that's a trifecta, because Call of Duty, I feel, takes up more sales than those two. So the fact that they're losing that giant pillar is definitely going to hurt them financially. So I get why they're scared. But again, Microsoft's agreeing, hey, you still have 10 years of Call of Duty. Figure something out. But not having that star power of Call of Duty is also intimidating. But like I've seen from Smash Brothers alone, absolutely anything is possible. They can figure something out.
Yeah.
Smash Bro, literally people will buy the Switch just to play a single game, and they won't buy any other game. That is a $400 game right there, sir.
And you have people from Microsoft, Disney, even Sony, if you want to count Cloud from Final Fantasy, like all of them in a Nintendo game, and Fortnite having the giant crossover the way it is.
Right.
Like, anything's possible in the gaming industry now, as long as marketed well. You can generate hype. Look at Redfall.
Exactly.
Not me over here, just begrudgingly playing that fucking game.
So
Beat it.
on to our next topic here, though, Scott.
Yeah.
Epic Games.
So some weirdness.
Yes,
right?
very much so.
Very, very much weird. Not weird when you start looking a little bit more into the depths of it, but Epic Games and CLO Fashion have actually they kind of had like a little deal, like, hey, I'll buy some of your, I'll invest in you, you invest in me, we'll just invest in each other, kind of like a little weird first date kind of awkwardness, right? So Epic Games invested in the digital fashion company CLO, and then CLO Virtual Fashion also went back and in turn invested in Epic Games. So when we start looking at what this really means, I mean, we already know Epic is in charge of games like Fortnite, things like that. CLO Virtual Fashion is always doing, like some costume design, some things like that. But it also works into Epic's kind of little metaverse that they want to try to work on a little bit. So that's really what you kind of get out of that is, okay, well, this is just kind of like a preemptive, handshake for some metaverse moves that Epic wants to make. But I can't wait to customize my dress in Fortnite, and just walk in on Fashion Week and get a victory royale,
and do a nice
weird.
emote.
Yeah, do a nice emote. Just do a quick dab in my Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
And I think this kind of helps to build into the idea that Fortnite isn't just a game anymore. It's kind of becoming the Roblox of games. Like there is some core gameplay mechanics, but at the end of the day, what can you do in it? You can do anything. Is this the new metaverse?
It is. It's a hell of a lot better than Facebook's meta.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, eat your heart out, Facebook.
Like, yeah, like get the hell out of here, Zuck. I'm still mad about that 60-day ban for a meme I posted 8 years ago. But yeah, so it's a little weird when you start looking into it. Like, this is definitely a metaverse like foundational build.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't seem to me to be much more than that.
Yeah, I mean, look at it now. Like they already do like concerts inside Fortnite. And the crazy thing is, me and my brother-in-law were leaving the hospital the other day, and it was on the radio. They were like, tune in on Roblox to listen to so and so in the concert of blah blah blah. And I'm like, wait a minute, did they just say Roblox? Like,
I hope that Captain America meme. No, I don't think I will.
Like, I was like, no way are they like advertising like a legitimate concert in Roblox on the radio. And I'm like, bro, like this shit is massive. Like how this is the metaverse that is here now. Like whether we get into the VR and the AR metaverse, that's we're ways off of that. But like this is the metaverse now.
Gamer. It's getting us closer to Gamer, what we mentioned last week, where like with Gran Turismo was like a flow through movie. Which, by the way, I said Gerard Way last week, and I listened to it in the podcast and in the Spotify, and I was like, I meant Gerard Butler. I'm just a huge Mike M fan, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, he's a big douche. So Roger, Valve had some interesting news this week.
Interesting is a weird way to put like an almost necessity they've been kind of ignoring for years. I guess maybe this is a preamble to CSGO 2. Valve has updated their code of conduct now to explicitly ban gambling. So you cannot gamble. So this, I believe, will tie into the extension to CSGO 2 will probably contain cases and keys or loot boxes of some sort. And you're going to not be able to gamble anymore with those, because that's the thing. There was a huge black market around CSGO cosmetics.
I mean, it's really just building off of what happened with Battlefront 2 and their whole gambling issues that went across the world in the different court systems. It became a pay to win, not necessarily in CSGO where, the skin didn't matter, but like in Star Wars, like there was abilities and characters you didn't get unless you got through the gambling of the thing, so you had to invest more money into it that you may never even get anyway.
Them gloves, bro.
Wait.
That's the part of the skin you could see. Them sweet gloves.
No. Yeah, it's crazy.
I gotta have them. Like,
gotta have them.
So
or like
all I know, like
stickers on the bombs.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that. Like, I think maybe like for some like addictive qualities, but I can tell you right now, like I think about gambling every single day, and I'm still not addicted. So,
well, that's good. The first thing to admit is admitting.
We need to make sure, we need to make sure kids don't gamble, because that's the problem. Kids have easier addictive personalities than adults do. It's easier for kids to form habits. And that's the problem. Kids were coming into CSGO and they were gambling because influencers are like, look at me score this $2,000 flip, my freaking butterfly knife. And you're like,
I gotta have
that
it.
kid's going to buy 20 cases with mom's 16.
Gonna spend $5,000. Gonna spend $5,000 to get a $300 item. Love that.
Hey Kyle, you have any take on any of this? Any insight information?
I had a thought.
I
lost it because, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost it all.
Yeah, it's
If
all
I
good.
think of it again, I'll chime in.
Well,
But-
you just all you got to do is pay $4.99. You can get it back. You might.
You're probably right.
There's like
Yeah,
a
you'll get the
10%
thought back.
chance
Yeah.
that you'll get that thought back. You just keep spending that $4.99. It'll come back eventually.
So
Like,
Roger. Oh, go ahead.
I'm
Kyle.
sorry. I was thinking about a thought that I had this morning, trying to prepare myself for this podcast, where I hate the fact that like games are $70 now, or if you buy the special NBA or Madden, you pay $100, and there's still so much pay to win on top of that. And that leads to another story that we covered earlier, where we get these like record-making profits, and there's so many layoffs happening on top of that, or like no pay bumps or anything like that. I hate the world now. I hate it so much.
Hashtag Great Reset.
Please give me a PS2 game that I know is finished, not something like
only.
Scarlet and Violet that is so rough at the start.
Right. I mean, we talk about it all the time here. I'm like, dude, is it at a point where you just gotta wait to buy a game or play a game because if you wait a year later, the game's gonna be at a higher fidelity, no issues.
We'll cover that next section.
Yes,
Just
I know.
wait.
Oh yeah, you're
I
right,
know,
you're right.
I know. So, Roger, The Last of Us that you were just talking about had an update in
two.
regards to the TV show, though.
Yeah. So the TV show is currently on hold. They are not working on it because the writer's strike. So the Writers Guild of America is currently on strike for better pay, talking about the issue with the wage disparity. Many people across, like for late night television, for one, every late night TV show is done. There are no more late night television. Things that, you know, were 10, 20, 30 episodes potentially going to be just missed for a lot of these, you know, just normal shows out there right now because the Writers Guild of America is currently on strike.
Right. Which is awesome.
Hey,
No, it's absolutely
unions-
awesome. I hate Jimmy Fallon. I really don't like his show.
I don't like Jimmy Fallon, and I don't like. There's a ton of people I don't like. But
Jimmy
there are some
Kimmel.
there's some good people out there like Stephen Colbert. I love him and stuff, and
That's true.
and he's a really good guy, and he actually is in the Writers Guild of America, and you know he's like, hey, my writers deserve better because I've been there. I've been in their shoes. I may make a ton of money, but they don't, and they need to make money. They need to be able to survive.
Yeah, and it's been a very big been a very big topic of like my daily drive, like on Spotify, when they've been discussing that. Like it's like, you know, the writers are like, if somebody produces an episode think Friends, right? Or you have your replays on actual cable. Like the studio that produced it will get those royalties, will get those things, but that's where it stops. So the people that actually wrote that episode, the people that actually made the jokes, the people that made like anything about that episode memorable, they get paid their pennies, and that's it. They get it once, and it's done.
Look at Taylor
And, like-
Swift. We had this whole issue with her and her songs. She owns the rights now to all of her songs, and she doesn't own the rights to the original songs, so she's redoing them all. She redid all these albums last year, just because she's like, "Fuck you! These are mine. I wrote them. Fuck you."
And so I think so Dave Chappelle had a really, really good take on basically that entire ideal, where it's like, and you know, we had spoken about who was the actor that just recently passed away, was a voice in Destiny. Who owns your voice is basically what the conversation we had. And you know, you have these contracts that are like, you know, we own you, your likeness, your voice, your face in perpetuity, things like that. Now, writers aren't necessarily getting that same exact contract, but they get your content in perpetuity.
Yeah,
they get
The story,
everything in perpetuity. Like what was it? Friends. One of the most memorable lines from Friends is "Pivot."
Right.
Like somebody wrote that, and every time that gets aired, they don't get paid. But
There's now magnets based on that phrase alone.
The studio who made it, they get paid every time. They get paid. They know who was involved with that episode, who wrote it, who like directed it, but they don't get paid.
And not only that, like the actors that are in it also don't get paid after the fact unless they argued for a profit share.
Yeah.
And only 2 actors actually on Friends did that. Very few people actually do that where they go for the royalties of things because you get so much less money up front.
Who were the
But,
2
you know,
actors?
I can't remember who the 2
Okay.
are, but
Well,
I remember them talking about
Conversations
it
for another time.
on their reunion episode. They talked about, you know, they convinced each other and they went in together and they were like, we're gonna do royalties, fuck it. And then Friends blew up and they were like, cha-ching.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're right. Writers don't get that, and so we're gonna see The Last of Us Part 2 be delayed. What else is gonna be delayed is also gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys are on Twitter with IGN, they've been tweeting out everything that keeps getting, hey, this is being put on hold, this is being put on hold, and I'm just like, fuck, like, that shit's going to take a huge impact in the cinema and then TV shows. Like, we're going to get to the point, like, we might not see shit in movie theaters or new TV shows coming, all these new subscription services that you can subscribe to. There's going to be a reason to subscribe because there's no new shit.
I really want to see Sonic 3. Come on, bring it back.
No, if Sonic 3 has to be in post production now, so I think we're safe.
Hopefully.
I hope.
We'll see. I mean, unless they decide to make the Mario and Sonic movie first. Because I've seen that floating around lately.
No, Sonic 3 is already getting a December release date. It's already happening.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah,
Did they start filming yet or no? Because I'm not sure if they did.
Well, you said it's in post-production, right?
I mean, it's got to be. It's December 2023.
Yeah, we'll see. But,
I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna Google search the shit out of that after this episode.
yeah, we could talk about that in the after show here for sure. But moving on to our last industry news, I did have an update in regards to the Asus ROG, which is the new handheld that's supposed to compete with the Steam Deck. It's reviewing exceptionally well. It's getting like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, stuff like that. So it seems like a really solid competitor for the Steam Deck. And the fact that it's completely like Windows based, like Windows 11 based, and people are like, "Yo, this is like way better than the Steam Deck." But I did get some insider information from a friend who knows somebody that works at Best Buy. A rep visited them with the product that is already there at the store, and it's for the June release date, so it's already there like a month early. But it did inform the tech that you may or may not be happy about this, but there's already an LTE model in the works. So right now you're only going to get the model that supports Wi-Fi 6E plus. But so if you want to play your games on the go without having to worry about Wi-Fi, you might want to wait until the LTE model comes out. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on that. But that was pretty cool to get some insider knowledge in regards to that. And the console did release its price point. It's going to be a $700 console. So might want to wait on that for sure. But
It's gonna be an awful lot to not be able to take it on the go.
right.
I mean,
Right.
and not only that, if the price is only going to go up if inflation stays the way it is, so do you want to wait?
Right. It's definitely a big question mark
But
for sure.
wages won't go up.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Wages
damn
won't go up.
straight.
We know that.
Yeah.
They have to work. They have to work for 6 months to afford one of it, and they make $7 an hour.
Right. So that's all of our industry news. Let's move on to our gaming news. So, got to kick it off here with our Xbox news service in regards to their services. Game Pass had an interesting update here this week. So, obviously, you get a monthly perks, and all of a sudden, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you're going to get Walmart Plus for 75 days. I'm so excited to have Walmart Plus here. I'd never really go. I went to Walmart today, I guess, but I don't know if I'll ever use this, but it's cool. But the fact that it comes with Paramount Plus, though, because it's bundled into the Walmart Plus, there's the benefit.
It's $3 or whatever for
Yeah.
Paramount Plus. Do you really need a free trial?
No. But I guess it comes with free grocery delivery, Walmart rewards, and all that stuff. So it may be beneficial for some who live in cities who don't really drive that much. So if you need to get your groceries delivered, there might be benefits to some people versus me. I live 2 minutes from the goddamn grocery store. I don't really care. So it's pretty cool, but you got to claim it by July 15th, so I might just grab it just to have it. Why not? And maybe because I can check out Paramount Plus, which means I can check out the terrible Halo show that is available.
I still never seen that.
Me neither. It's
Not
okay.
gonna watch it.
Oof.
After
Yeah.
watching the Last of Us TV show, I'm like,
How can you go back to something so bad?
I know I can't do it. It's not even ironically bad. It is just bad.
Like I heard,
Yeah.
if it was its own thing, had no connection to actually
If
Halo,
Master Chief did not show up,
it'd be fine. But because it's about Master Chief, but it doesn't exist in the actual Halo universe, is where you lost me. Why?
Right.
There's no reason for me to check it out at all. But
Yeah, I would pay not to see it again. And, and Paramount's like it's like $10 a month. You know what? I will pay $10 a month to not see the Halo series for like 3 months.
yeah,
I'll tell you
If I
what.
can do it
I'll
upfront
pay.
for
I'll pay $10 a
25, I'll do
month
it.
for Paramount Plus, just so I can watch Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide again, which I'm doing, by the way.
Hey.
I'm not watching Halo. I'm watching Ned's.
that's
All of
hilarious.
my
That's
all of my
hilarious.
Paramount Plus money goes to Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
Oh Jesus.
For me, it's Nickelodeon stuff. Oh, and
Every
Beavis and
time.
Butthead. I love Beavis and Butthead.
That
Every
makes
day,
sense.
7:30 on the dot, man. Dinner and Jeopardy. That's what I do.
That's funny. But in regards to Xbox, they had an update to one of their games, A Plague Tale Rec Room, which I beat earlier in the year, and Roger, I think you beat it as well, if I'm not mistaken. But it's getting a new update. It gets 60 FPS performance mode on Xbox Series X and S, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Should
man.
have been there, but whatever.
Didn't I really just say this at the beginning of the podcast? We care too much about graphics. That's the thing. Everyone has to suck the teat of graphics, and nobody's like, if it has a good story, who fucking cares?
Right. And that game had a great story. I didn't even realize that it was struggling with frames. Like I forgot it was running at 30 frames per
Yeah.
second because the game was really fun. There wasn't a lot of moments that were fast paced, but there were some moments where it was really fast paced, like a fucking billion rats were on the screen. So like it was using a lot of technology sometimes, and never once did I experience a frame drop at all. I mean, my Series X does phenomenal, like no issues at all. Like I love the console. It's just sad to see that it could, like, grand scheme of things. I think the Series X minimum should be running at 4K 60, like minimum, period, and then like the maximum should be like 4K 120 or 8K 30. Like I'd be okay with 8K 30 if that was a big of a deal, but like 8K is
Well,
far off.
like we had spoken about in the past couple episodes, honestly,
Yeah,
is like these are things that these consoles have promised. 4K, 60
Right.
frames per second, and we have consistently not seen any of them together. You either get
Even-
4K or you get 60 frames per second, and that's fucking it. And we discussed like 4 weeks ago, 60 frames per second that's your floor. That's your dirt. Like that is it. So but I will have to venture back and say, like, when you did play a Plague Tale and you know that it was stuck at 30 frames per second, was it awful? And depending on your answer, does that change the opinion of Redfall being stuck at 30 frames?
right. And that I was just saying that. Like I completely forgot that it was locked at 30, and didn't really notice it. Like even like I was just telling Roger, like the fast scenes, I didn't see any frame drops even at 30. So I was just like, I completely forgot that it was at 30. So that's why I was saying I'm willing to give Redfall a chance. I don't think it's about the 30 frames per second is the issue with Redfall. It's all of the other
I
shit
think you're
that
gonna
is shut on.
notice. You were saying that Plague Tale, you didn't notice it was 30 frames per second because of the story in the game. You're
Yeah,
gonna
that's what
notice.
he's-
You're gonna notice 30 frames per second with Redfall probably.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. I'll be able to compare it, and then I can give you guys an honest insight in Redfall versus Plague Tale Requiem for sure.
Love that.
But moving on here to our software, May update has arrived for most people because I haven't gotten it. I checked it. I haven't gotten this update. But now you'll be able to view Xbox gamer tags of your Discord friends, so that's pretty awesome. So like if you join a Discord server chat on the Xbox, you can like click on their name and then see if they have an Xbox profile and then add them, because before then like it just wasn't possible. So that's pretty cool. For the Microsoft Store and Xbox.com, there's a new sort and filter options built into there. There's a new the controller firmware update, and the Xbox Game Pass quests are now easier to find on a new rewards tab, which is awesome because to get to them before you had to go to the Game Pass app and then like scroll like 3/4 of the way down and then they'd be in there. It was kind of like impossible to get to those, so that's pretty awesome to see there. Moving on though, Nintendo had some updates here. Scott, what's going on with Nintendo?
Yeah, so Nintendo president Shintaro Furukawa, he explained during an investor's presentation that it wasn't really considering new hardware in the 2023-2024 fiscal year. So if we're looking for that Switch that we've been begging for before Tears came out, we're not going to be able to expect that until at least late April 2024. When we were looking at that, when I read that, we were looking at, what's Nintendo's fiscal year, because everybody's got different fiscal years, right? Usually, like for my agency, it's like October 1 to September, to the end of September, and theirs is April to March. It's looking, so we're not going to be able to expect anything out of that until at least end of April 2024. But on top of that, we do have a couple announcements from Nintendo. We got the Metroid Prime Remastered did sell more than 1 million copies,
Yeah.
which is kind of to be expected because Metroid Prime was it was amazing. It was amazing.
And does
I
this mean
remember
hype?
playing that. I
Does
think
this
it
mean hype
does.
for the next Metroid game?
I think it does.
Because we were talking previously, could this be the prelude to finally seeing the next Metroid game? Is it going to nigh shadow drop on us, where it's like, a few months down the road after we get the final release trailer, we're like, wait, it's coming 6 months? Could this be that prelude to walk us into it?
I think it could. I really think it could, and I'm really excited to see what they want to do with that hype, because you're absolutely right, Roger. This has generated some hype. Metroid Prime was already an amazing game. They did the remaster. People are still buying into it. People still want it, and now they know people still want it. So,
and they already showed us what a new controller scheme would look like.
Yeah,
that's the important part.
Yeah,
it makes me wonder, like, leading up to the eventual release of Metroid Prime 4, are we gonna have updates to the game, and then, or a Nintendo Direct, and then bam, shadow drop of Metroid Prime 2, and then physical 2 weeks later, and then eventually we're getting closer to the game. Here's Metroid Prime 3. Then you can have all 4 games Metroid Prime on your Switch.
That would be really interesting. Like, I mean, they've honestly been doing that with a lot of games lately. They'll drop like remasters of the old game, and then they drop the new one later on. But like for them, if they like, I think maybe they tested the water with one. But what if they bundle 2 and 3 next, and then shadow drop them together as a package
Maybe
deal?
that's also possible.
Why not? Why not?
Because maybe
make it a package deal. Get them both. Like, get ready to like.
Because maybe 4 is already ready to go, and they want to continue to build the hype and prepare people for the story of with 4. And they're like, here's 2 and 3. You guys just play through 1, play through 2 and 3, and guess what? 4 will be out in a couple months.
Get everyone hyped up so everyone will buy it, and then that way they don't have to lay off that many people this year.
Right. And I'm sure, like, physically they'll release them all individually, because I know, like, I know with Bayonetta 1, they made a physical release of that just recently in the past couple of months, I think. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I have a small hot take about the Switch, if you don't mind me ranting for a little bit.
Oh no,
go for
we
it.
love it.
All right.
Please.
All right, so the Switch, starting high, the Switch has a fantastic library, and when it comes to preservation, when it comes to its retro games, it's doing a decent job. But I find the console itself so boring, because if you think back on things like the Wii, or the 3DS, or even the Wii U, if you want to go that far, you get reminiscent about stuff like, with the Wii, the first thing I think of is the music, whether it be from the Wii Shop channel, or the Mii Maker, or just making your Miis in general. When I think of the 3DS, I think of Street Pass and how much I miss that so much, or any of the other gimmicks that I personally found very charming. What's the Switch have? Like, it's such a boring console on paper compared to those. If I go back to a 3DS or a Wii or anything like that, and I hear the music, or just go back to a gimmick app, I get so much nostalgia and so many good feeling vibes that I can't think of the proper term off the top of my head, because I'm on camera right now, I'm on the spot. But if I boot up a Switch, the only thing that is very magical about the Switch that will make you reminisce with it with a sound is the snap. That's it. Like, there is no music in the eShop. There is no fun gimmick app that you can play with. There's no Street Pass.
So,
go ahead.
The snap. I just 2 seconds.
I heard it.
My controllers were dying earlier today, and I was like, shit. I only got the 2. And I went and I put the right one in, and you heard the snap, and I put the left one in, and you heard fuck all. You heard nothing. I was like, I don't know. I was like, that was the one thing you guys
Controller
got. Like,
broken?
where's it? Like, where's the snap? That's what I paid for. Anyway, you're talking about the Nintendo snap. I was like, I got half of that.
Like, let's say in the future, let's say this Switch Pro, next gen Switch or next gen console, whatever, it has music, it has these gimmick apps, it has themes, because we're still waiting on themes on that damn thing. Like, it's gonna be looked back on as such a boring system. The opinion I have now, I feel, is gonna be an opinion that people are gonna have later. Like also another small tangent. Like, I loved my Wii U a lot more than my PS4 within the first couple of years because Nintendo had a lot more original games coming out compared to I don't know how many remasters coming out for the PS4 at the time. At the end of the life cycle, then PS4 was fantastic. I got some of my favorite games of all time. I got Spider-Man and Final Fantasy VII Remake. But then Switch comes out and just revives all the library that the Wii U had. Okay, whatever. But I don't know where I was going with that. I just want the rant.
Nah, yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. The Switch is a very interesting console because it's like it's trying to be a lot, but then it's like it can't find its self identity, and because it's still trying to relive that Wii U like era of gaming, but like it's trying to be its own thing. So it's like in a really weird spot.
I feel it just doesn't have that Nintendo magic that it originally had with other systems.
It's doing something.
I won't agree with you there.
Okay.
It definitely does. It has the immediate playability, especially for multiplayer. You can still pick it up. You can grab it. Like, not that anybody does it, but like I could grab it. I could go and sit on a picnic table like the commercial said, and four of us could play a game real quick. So it does still have that. It still has that playability. It still has that multiplayer, which is really what Nintendo ended up being known about, was the ability to play with everybody else. Like, you weren't after a Nintendo game because of the rich graphics and storyline on a single player game. You were there because you had Mario Party, you had Mario Kart, like you had all of those. So I will defend Nintendo a little bit in that, but I will also turn back and agree with everything that you said about the Switch leading up to that.
Right. Like, I will admit, with Mario Party Superstars, that is the most fun I had in a Mario Party I've had since the GameCube days. Having the online multiplayer alone added so much to that game. But I also miss DS download play, but that's just me being a boomer. But that's okay.
For sure. Were we still reading here from the Nintendo here with Splatoon 3?
Yeah, so we got Splatoon 3. So that actually sold 10 million copies total. So going off of that, which I mean, good for them. I have not played Splatoon. I heard it's been great. Everybody who's talked about it has said that it's been a great game, which really makes sense for the overall 10 million units sold. And then if we're on the topic of units sold, we are looking at our favorites right now, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That's more than 20 million units, which is just short of Sword and Shield's 25. Like 25.8, like just under that 26 mark for the units sold. So Nintendo's still, with the units, I mean, they've been selling, pumping it through.
Remember, it only came out in November, and we have until next November for the next Pokemon game, potentially.
Yes.
Already.
So, yeah, and they still haven't made enough money for a Switch 2, but we will get on that at some other time.
So what's over in Game Freak, which is interesting here?
All right, so Game Freak has just signed the rights to Private Division for a new action-adventure IP from Pokemon Studio. So we might be seeing Private Division, who helped out with many other big games out there on the market right now. We know they've signed the deal. They're going to be helping out with something in the Pokemon realm. What are we going to see? Time will only tell, but it's exciting to see this company that helped on things like Outer Worlds, I think, is one of their big games they helped on. This is a studio that helped with some big name titles.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see if that turns out to be anything good, I should say. Scott, you dropped in some interesting news into our Discord here for Diablo 4.
Yes, so Diablo 4 had originally partnered with KFC. Of all brands. And what they did was they originally had a promo with KFC, where the KFC gave away access codes for the first closed beta weekend. And now we've been seeing some kind of more rumor mill going where you're going to have another KFC Diablo link up. So it looks like that basically what we're seeing is, according to a recent leak from what appears to be an internal KFC worksite, the fast food chain is planning a collaboration with Diablo 4 from May 29th to July 2nd. So this is actually going to come with Diablo 4 themed KFC package boxes.
Interesting.
Which, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna get. I really hope they have a bowl that's just Diablo 4. They're giving us everything that the Xbox couldn't, Vic.
Right, that's what it sounds like.
That's what they're giving us. So the announcement says there could be up to 5 exclusive in-game rewards claimed. Basically, I don't know if this is gonna be like how McDonald's does Monopoly, like you get a code, or you get this, you get that, or the other thing. Who knows really at this point? I loved it. Man, nothing was better than McDonald's Monopoly. That shit was amazing.
What a time.
But yeah, so but you'll be able to get these, and then you'll be able to acquire these in-game upgrades by scanning the QR code on the special Diablo 4 sandwich pouch. It says here, and the 4 other items are earned with subsequent sandwich purchases from KSC in the website or the mobile app.
Right.
So weird. Once again, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't need a reason to go to KFC because I'll still do it. Yeah. But now I just don't feel as bad about it.
Right.
Speaking of, I haven't tried their nuggets yet. How are the nuggets?
They're great.
Yeah.
They're great, and they brought the Double Down back, which is what Diablo 4 did their original collab with. Ooh. And the Double Down, I mean, if you want to taste just everything wrong with a lot of stuff, just everything, get the Double Down.
For sure. Moving on here to our next topic. Hopefully, Scott and Roger, you guys will finally be able to play Star Wars Jedi Survivor, because patch 4 is now available, and they have fixed a ton of fucking shit for the PC. So maybe the game is now playable for you guys. Thank goodness. So I can have the conversation with you guys. I did just drop the patch notes here, link into the chat here. So if you guys want to check that out, be sure to hop over there. But yeah, it's a long list of a bunch of shit. Don't want to go into too much detail, but hopefully it's time for you guys to hop in, and then we can talk about the game finally together. But
did you tell them too fucking bad because I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom now?
Snooze, you lose, bro.
A day late and a dollar short.
Their whole audience to that.
in a snap. Never mind. Team Cherry, what's going on over there, Roger?
Yeah, so Team Cherry, the people behind Hollow Knight, have decided to delay the game yet again. There is no expected release date, but it is delayed out of the first half of 2023. You will not see it until at least the second half of 2023, if not 2024.
That's fine. Take your time.
I mean, at least we know it's coming, unlike Half-Life 3. So, it's coming.
Don't go down that rabbit hole.
Don't do that.
It's a bad idea. And last up here in our gaming news, EA was in the news here as well.
Yeah, so Apex Legends is taking shots at Fortnite, hoping to be maybe a little more in the forefront of pop culture by looking for crossovers. The EA CEO has gone on record saying that they have not ruled out the idea of pop culture crossover events or even skins or packages of some sort.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that they waited this long to even think about this, because you figure this game has been out since 2019, so it's been 4 years, and not once really has there been any like crossover events. And like Call of Duty, Fortnite, both have been doing this. Like plenty of other games have also been doing it. So really curious to see. Apex is like, we haven't ruled it out.
Need to be.
There doesn't. Make it make sense in the game.
To be. Like, it's one of those things. Like, I love my crossovers. I love my crossovers. The Fortnite Doctor Who one. I was about to get on Fortnite just because I love Doctor Who. And when Gohan and Piccolo came in, I was like, this might be it. This might be the thing that gets me into Fortnite. None of it could actually do it, but like, I love Apex for just being Apex.
It's just a game. I don't want to get my ass clapped by John Wick in the middle of a game.
like John Wick, a fucking stormtrooper, like Darth Vader, like you don't
Or
need
Hatsune
that.
Miku.
There you go. Like, yes.
Yeah, Fortnite is just insane with the crossovers for sure. But let's move it on here to our last part of the podcast where we talk about some leaks and rumors, and we actually got a decent amount this week, guys. So, going to kick it off here with some Xbox related news. There was a new controller that was leaked, and it's like the Arctic camo controller. So, if anybody's familiar with the white, gray, and like black kind of camouflage that's used in most of the times, and I think they had an older controller from the 360 or even the Xbox One that had a similar pattern, but going to be a new one here with the Series X and S. In regards to news, there is a new update in regards to the Activision Blizzard here in the leaks because the rumor is that Reuters and Bloomberg have reported that the EU Commission is set to approve the acquisition, but we know how far this can go because there was rumors saying that the UK was going to approve it, and then they were like, "Psych, just kidding." So hopefully we get that updated here soon. But there was an interesting news in regards to a potential acquisition as well in the future. Um, Not going to butcher the person's name here, but Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, a developer, has been recently been contacted by someone who talks to different studios to engage in conversations to see their interest in regards to being acquired. And it is a possibility here, whether they join Xbox Game Studios or ZeniMax. There was a text conversation that was leaked out, and we seen the back and forth conversation that, hey, yeah, this could be a potential buyout, and that'd be a pretty big pickup for Xbox for sure. But on to another game here, Lords of the Fallen, the reboot or number 2. I don't know how they're trying to really shape this game up to be. Got a leak in regards to its release date for October 13th via the Microsoft Store. It was leaked. And from the trailers and the stuff that we've been seeing, it's been looking really good. Just don't know how good of a game it is really going to be. I have Lords of the Fallen right here behind me on disc. Never played it. Just wasn't a game that really catch me to like, yeah, I must play this game. But so far it's looking really good, so we'll see. But we were just talking about Fortnite, Roger, and Fortnite had some interesting news here.
I told you. I said, dude, it is the metaverse. It is the future of gaming. It is Roblox redefined with guns. Car racing mode is rumored to be in development for Fortnite. This is now the Forza competitor version of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
And
see.
it's gonna
No,
have
this is that
and
Lego.
competitive.
Everyone knows it's Lego 2K Drive.
Yeah, you're right.
It's building in Fortnite. You build your car. It's Lego 2K, man.
Honestly, Fortnite's still gonna do a better job than Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
Oof. Hot take.
Hot take there. A really hot take.
God damn. You can't just drop that shit in leaks and rumors, man.
But Scott, Mortal Kombat, such a huge iconic franchise. What's going on here?
So, I was so excited to take this one. So, Mortal Kombat is looking at what they're calling is going to be Mortal Kombat 1. Right? So they're looking to reboot the series. If anybody remembers the original first like 3 Mortal Kombats, all arcade games, right? Simple fight, go up the tower, fight, go up the tower, fight, go up the tower. And they're looking to reboot that, and it's going to be more of the sense of like the Mortal Kombats as we've seen them now. Whether or not they're really going to deal with what they're going to do with the original storyline, if they're going to follow a second storyline, vis-a-vis like Annihilation, a lot of that's still really, really up. But we are getting that original reboot for Mortal Kombat Uno, as they're
Does it come
calling
with
it.
your own game cabinet? Do you get your own arcade machine?
I hope so. God, I hope so.
I'm sure
If
that'll
not-
be in the
if-
collector's edition. It comes
If
with.
not, I know a lot of people that have 3D printers, and
I mean,
We'll make
God,
it.
we're gonna make
We'll
it.
make it
We're gonna
happen.
make it. It's gonna happen.
I'm sure
I'm an
Kyle-
hour and a half. I'm an hour and a half from 2 different micro centers. We can make this happen.
right. I mean, but the thing is, if it's part of a collector's edition, Kyle will let us know when it's available here.
Damn
Yeah,
straight.
I'll do a video unboxing it. Why
Yeah.
not?
right over to Just Press Play, baby.
Yes, sir.
But so we're saying that some DLC could include like Peacemaker and Homelander. So, if anybody who has played the Mortal Kombat, you know that they bring in a lot of pop culture icons. We've had Freddy Krueger, we've had Jason Voorhees, like we've had so many. But now we're looking at Peacemaker, which is more relevant for the time, and Homelander, which is even more relevant for the time, as well. So it's gonna bring back that nice little like pop culture, like you get your extra character person, but still while playing that original Mortal Kombat storyline. So I hope it comes out literally yesterday.
It'll be out here
Not
before
Friday,
we know it.
not
yeah.
Friday. Friday was for Tears of the Kingdom, but yesterday I'll take. But I can't wait to see more come out of this.
For sure. GTA had some interesting news here, Roger. Is
we know
this going to be the best looking game? I mean, we're talking about graphics all the time. Is GTA 6 going to be the best looking game?
Oh, for
I
sure.
think there's something to be said about GTA always being a game that kind of defines the time you're in. GTA 5 was a good example. It defined what gaming will look like moving forward, you know? What does a world without loading screens look like once you're in the game? Like, once you're in the game and you have a world the size of a fucking city and you can go around and it takes you hours to walk from one side to the other, or 15-20 minutes to drive from one side to the other, and you don't have loading screens, it really defined what a world could be, and then actually filled that world, actually added things all across it. We're looking at GTA 6 now having a dedicated engineering team of 20 people potentially working on water physics alone for this game. So what are we looking at here? Like, are we looking at actually adding another depth of play to this game?
Yes. Well, the added depth is also part of this rumor is they could be adding surfing to this game, and that would be next level for GTA. I mean, like you wouldn't think of GTA. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go surfing in GTA. I'm gonna go play a surfing game, but no, you're like this might be the best looking water that we
you
could
have
have.
driving games, you have shooting like deathmatch games, you've got just role play games.
Yeah.
Now it's a surfing game. What? Honestly, it's really cool to me, the idea. What if these water physics, now you're driving a boat and you have some dude wakeboarding behind you? What is that going to do for roleplay when people are like, let's go check out my yacht on GTA?
Right. A lot of depth. Go ahead, Kyle.
Go ahead, Kyle. Okay.
Like,
Go, Kyle.
it makes me wonder, like, what are the limits in Grand Theft Auto? I want to get to the point where whatever your hobbies are in real life, you can do those exact same things in GTA.
Let's go bowling.
Exactly. Like,
Yo, if they had bowling in Grand Theft Auto, best believe you catch me on Wednesday nights, right down at like San Andreas Lanes.
I want next gen
throwing
GTA
turkeys.
Online to feel like a Second Life again. You know.
I'm gonna go in GTA to play another video game inside GTA. That's what I'm gonna do.
Exactly. Give it time, you'll do it.
Oh yeah, well, we already know it runs Doom.
Right. I'm sure it does. I mean, look at
anything runs Doom.
Look at
Like,
Minecraft.
the challenge in life, the meaning of life, is to see what can play Doom.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a toaster, a fridge, the car,
They
your
all play
watch,
Doom.
no matter what it is,
do.
it plays Doom. It's pretty crazy.
No, I think they're heading big with that.
Yeah.
I think they're heading very, very big with that. I really hope they pull that shit off.
I mean, you could play Crash inside Uncharted 2. My life's complete.
Yeah, you're
True.
good.
Yeah, that's really all you need.
Yeah, Shadow Crash on the top of his hat there.
Yep.
So Scott, go ahead and round us out here with our leaks and rumors in regards to Call of Duty. Had some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, big one. So Call of Duty 2023 is rumored to be Modern Warfare 3. That's already that's big right there. So this is they're saying that the primary developer is going to be Sledgehammer Games. It's going to be campaign, multiplayer, zombies, and a new Warzone map. We get Las Almas, which was the map from the Modern Warfare 2 campaign. So that's supposed to be in the Warzone map. Sources are saying that zombies will be kind of like an Onslaught 2.0, and Activision is weighing options to make it free to play or part of premium content. See how that goes. But we're looking at key dates here for the Modern Warfare 3, as we're affectionately referring it to it as. So we have a beta weekend, which is going to be October 6th to the 10th of this year. And then we've got beta weekend 2, which is going to be the 12th to the 16th of this year. And then we got campaign early access, which is going to start November 2nd this year. We've got full release on November 10 this year. And then season 1 launch with a new Warzone map, and I really hope it's Verdansk, which is going to be December 5, 2023. So all that money you saved up to buy everyone you love Christmas presents, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because it's going it's going right to Call of Duty. Those bastards.
Right.
Am I missing something here? I thought the last Call of Duty was supposed to last an extra year.
Right. Well, that's the interesting part
Yeah,
here.
that's
It's
what
like
they said, and then they
so-
realized that they like more money.
Well, no, like the idea was like it was supposed to be an expansion of Modern Warfare 2, and like it was supposed to be like this addition to Modern Warfare 2, but it grew into such a large content. They were like, you know what? It's just going to be a new premium experience, but it's going to be an expansion of the game that you just played last year. So I'm just
Fuck
like,
that
yeah, you know, more money.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes
I mean,
down to.
it's one of those things that starts as like a rumor, but it becomes more defined as you look more and more into it, and it comes further along. I mean, yeah, fuck Activision.
Yeah.
Like it was supposed,
Activision, dude,
it was
I'm done.
supposed, it was supposed to be. Well, what do you think is gonna happen when Microsoft buys them?
Exactly.
I mean, it's gonna be your yearly subscription to your new Call of
Well,
Duty.
You know what? If it's in Game Pass because of it, I'm fine. But yeah, Marshmallow's
yeah.
right. The money monster strikes again.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
It's
So
pretty-
like I personally like if they're trying to rock how they did back in like original Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, like I didn't give a shit for Modern Warfare 3. I did not like it. I really hope that this one is not like it.
oh man.
It was I didn't need it. Didn't need it.
Modern
didn't need
Warfare
it, never-
3 was
never
my
asked
most
for it,
played
didn't
Call of
need
Duty
it,
game
didn't
of all
want it.
time. Most
Yeah, well,
played of
guess
all time.
what? Guess who wasn't there?
Yeah, you weren't, and there's probably a
Me.
good reason why. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
He was too busy getting rezzed.
It's too busy getting res. It's because they had jetpacks and that shit.
Not in Modern
Jetpacks,
Warfare 3.
and
Nah.
that was Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, that was Sledgehammer, unfortunately. And then Black Ops
And
3,
guess who's making this year's?
Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer.
You want me to be honest with you? Hot take here. I don't think Sledgehammer has made a good Call of Duty game since they became its own developer for a Call of Duty game.
And that's what's really concerning about this because they are getting handed a golden egg.
Yeah.
And I really hope they don't break it.
Advanced
I
Warfare,
really hope they don't
garbage.
drop that shit.
World War II was
Advanced Warfare-
garbage. Vanguard was
Advanced Warfare-
garbage.
Vanguard was dog shit. Like to even call that.
The only time
anything
Sledgehammer was
awful.
part of something that was good was Modern Warfare 3 because they helped create Modern Warfare 3 with Infinity Ward because that was during their fallout with all of their developers leaving because of the in-house issues that they were dealing with. They were like, oh shit, we need help. Sledgehammer Games.
Infinity Ward goated.
Yeah.
Infinity Ward and Treyarch are always the best. I don't.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Why would you give something this big to something that has consistently made games that have been received so terribly? We will find out.
Yeah, so we'll definitely see how that
Zombies
goes.
was fun in it.
Zombies wasn't in,
Yeah.
in Modern Warfare ever.
No. In Modern Warfare, well,
Never were
Is
they
it
in Modern Warfare.
Ah,
Never.
yeah, you're right.
They weren't in Modern Warfare. They were
Yeah.
the last one they were in was Cold War, but even then we had spoken.
Yeah.
We had spoken a few episodes back about how terrible of a game did you make that zombies didn't save it.
Right, and I don't think it's going to save it here because it's not the traditional zombies. It's that open world zombie mode that they tried doing in Vanguard or Cold War, and it's like, I don't really care about
Well, I think you're gonna end up having your cucks like me, who are still gonna play Warzone.
it. I'm still going to buy the game even though I'm talking shit about it.
I'm still gonna play Warzone. Warzone's free,
yeah.
so
Yeah, so we'll
I'm
definitely
not
see how
gonna buy the
that
rest of the game.
we'll see how that goes. Kyle, you got any thoughts on Modern Warfare 3.2.0.6 whatever version this is?
3.2.1.6723.
I'll be real. I don't really play Call of Duty.
Okay.
Growing up in high school, I've always watched my neighbors play Call of Duty and see them go intense in their matches because I'm trying to be a supportive friend.
Mhm.
I didn't want to be home,
That makes sense.
so I don't know. I'm not surprised that Zombies is not going to be in Modern Warfare 3. Like you said, it was never in Modern Warfare, so it's whatever.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting take
But-
on the modern day zombies.
Mhm.
So it could be
But
good.
I absolutely agree with Scott though. Like they have a golden egg, and I hope they don't crack it, but we'll see what happens.
They don't have a good
They
trail
threw
here.
it on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah. Happy Warzone to the ground because I'm really like I'm putting a lot of faith in in these guys right now because like you said, Vic, they have not made a good one yet.
Not once.
Right.
I'm
But
really
in-
hoping that they do.
And are they going to single-handedly be making Warzone? No.
No. That stuff will
So,
be all
like-
separated. But like they're talking
Yeah.
about the strictly multiplayer
Oh yeah, yeah.
is
I
is
getcha.
not going to have no tie-ins with any other developer, which is not good in my opinion. We keep making these drastic changes that don't make the game better. We're actually making it progressively worse each year. We try to change multiplayer. Keep the
It's
shit the same.
optimized. It's optimized, man.
Yeah, on the console.
We've added instead of just going straight up the wall, you actually have to buy the perk to be able to run, to be able to actually jump, to climb, and it's optimized now.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So that's all of our news, leaks, rumors, everything we got going on. So we do want to thank everyone who did check us out live today here on Twitch, and anyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And before I get it over to Roger, we definitely want to thank Kyle here for joining us, man. We really appreciate your insight, and we'd love to have you back on the show, man. So thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. I am so down to come back.
Yeah, that's good, man.
And it was a fun time.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, it was definitely great. So, Roger, where can the community find you at?
If you want to find me, I'm on Twitch at lunatic_oblivion.
And Kyle, where can everyone find you at?
You can find me everywhere. If you like toy photography, Instagram. If you like streaming, my TikTok. Or if you like Guitar Hero, TikTok. If you like unboxings of toys and recent pickups, my YouTube. All at Kyle's Game Room. And if you like to just yell at me, I have Twitter as well and Snapchat. All my DMs are open. Talk to me. I'm an open book.
Hey, that's great to hear, man. And Scott, where can the community find you at?
As always, you got twitch.tv/Scobie1. If you want to get a hold of me on Discord, it's Scobie1. My numbers are 9369, although I hear that is changing, pretty
yep.
soon.
Right.
And then if you want to get a hold of me on Battle.net, it's Scobie1. My numbers are 11780. And if you want to get a look into my personal life, kind of get a hold of my DMs, talk to me a little bit, Scobie1.
Awesome. And of course, everyone, check me out at Twitter at MrNeverChillin_. Xbox is XNeverSpaceChillin. You want to party up, play some Warzone or whatever, hit me up there. Facebook is Vic Brubacher, so slide in the DMs there. So if you want to join the show, have any questions, concerns, hit me up there. And of course, I'm streaming over on my Twitch. It has been quiet lately due to me having a delivering my baby girl this week. So shout out to her.
Congrats to him, by the way,
Yeah.
in the chat. Congrats.
So definitely been quiet here, but that's for a good reason there. But I do stream on my Twitch at Mr. Never Chillin'. But we do want to thank everyone again. But until next time, peace.
Restart podcast.